Cornelia Field has been host to football for over half a century, but the past couple of years it hasn't seen a game with the disbanding of the Maverick football team. We'll show you what UNO has in plan for the historical stadium. Good afternoon, I'm Samantha Netchkosh.
And I'm Kevin Cleaver. 3 Metro football teams have made their respective high school championships in classes A and B. We'll give you a preview of the games that will be played on Monday and Tuesday. You're watching the Omaha News.
This is the Omaha News, presented by the School of Communication at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, from the studios of UNO Television.
As Thanksgiving approaches, so does Black Friday, and people are gearing up for the shopping frenzy. Hundreds will gather outside shopping centers all across Omaha. But what happened to the once beloved Crossroads Mall? According to reporter Robbie Pinkelman, the mall is planning renovations to try to improve its image.
72nd and Dodge is one of the busiest intersections in Omaha, and home to once was one of Omaha's busiest malls. Word has been traveling around that a new owner of the property has plans to revitalize the area. District 1 City Councilman Pete Festerson says that the new idea for this part of town will closely follow in the footsteps of West Omaha's outdoor shopping center.
We're excited about the plan for Crossroads. It's a $350 million redevelopment of the entire property here that'll bring back retail to the area, but in a mixed-use fashion and in a fashion more like you'd think of Village Point, where there's outdoor opportunities and indoor opportunities for the neighborhood, surrounding community, and certainly students.
Target and Barnes & Noble plan to stay firm in their spots during this complete renovation. Festerson also said they hope to see new businesses come to the future redeveloped area, adding to the new restaurants neighboring the site. As years have gone by and businesses have come and gone, the Crossroads is still known to keep its customers coming. Store manager of the Finish Line, Nick Pellman, tells us how his store remains to stay afloat in the nearly abandoned mall.
We still continue to get the same flow, but we have a very loyal clientele, a lot of repeat business.
The financing and layout for the new mall are currently top priorities during this time. The now present stores gear up for yet another year, while construction is set to begin in 2014 and hold its grand opening in 2015. For the Omaha News, I'm Robbie Pinkelman.
Currently, the parking garage that hosts UNO students and Methodist employees is one of the biggest moneymakers for the Crossroads Mall, helping it stay afloat during these hard economic times.
The holidays can be a stressful time for some people trying to control their weight. Ernest Powell found out tips to stay fit for the holidays.
The start of November means that leaves will be changing colors and falling, as well as the start of the holiday season. For most, it can be a fulfilling time as you spend time with friends and family, as well as enjoying the holiday meals. It seems to happen every year that when the holidays come around, a lot of people stop being active. But during these times, you can still hang out with friends and family and go play a game of football or frisbee, or take the dogs for a walk in the park. One of the keys to the holidays is always to keep moving. Fitness trainer JT Agner says that if it's possible, team up with somebody for a workout.
Motivation, obviously, the accountability, working with a partner, and especially if you find someone that knows something about what they're doing in the gym, whether it's outside, whether it's in the gym, it's always great to have that, that accountability, someone that's gonna hold, that's gonna keep you accountable for showing up.
You can do simple things inside your home if you feel the gym may not be what you want. You can get dumbbells or any fitness balls at most department stores. JT says that everyone can and should enjoy their holiday meals.
Right. Well, the whole thing is you can actually eat for the holidays. You don't have to, obviously, hey, I'm not going to eat the mashed potatoes or gravy. You can still eat it, but eat it in moderation.
Some other healthy tips to make sure your fitness is correct. Make sure you eat at least 6 times a day, every 2 to 3 hours to keep your metabolism going. And instead of having fruit juices and pop, have water to keep your body hydrated throughout the day. Reporting for the Omaha News, I'm Ernest Powell.
For anyone who wants to do some fitness outside, there's still some time. The forecasts say that the temperatures are supposed to be in the 50s through Tuesday.
OPPD is considering a general rate increase of 6.9%, which would be its second biggest rate hike in a decade. OPPD gave reasons for the increase: costs to restarting Fort Calhoun, declining revenue from selling excess electricity, and maintenance of $5 million in assets. The district said it's short $60 million for 2013 after budget cuts. The additional money will be used to offset nearly $100 million rise in the cost of buying and shipping coal. Well, coming up after the break, despite Lyme disease not being that common locally, there are still some cases that have been controversial, to say the least.
We'll show you somebody that is affected by this rare disease and how some doctors are handling it. You are watching the Omaha News.
PBS is the place you should go first.
There are no advertisers to be satisfied, only an audience to be satisfied.
We take our responsibility as journalists very seriously. We are constantly thinking about our viewers and what they care about.
We want to let you know what the information is, and then you decide what you want to think.
At the News Hour, we are after the facts and only the facts.
I knew as a music teacher that there were festivals for piano students and that type of thing going up, but there was no real public recognition of children's achievements in music until they got to be in high school.
I was embarrassed because I was in middle school, but it was interesting because I didn't think I was good at that point, because you're middle school, you're just you could be best in the orchestra, but you're not sure.
I just remember the joy and the giddiness that these students had. They loved coming to the station and having a tour of the station, and it really meant a lot to them to actually have an interview at this radio station, and they were all so excited and so passionate about music.
When I became a classical kid, I got to go to the Gilsha Hum concert at the Jazz and Art Museum, and that concert completely changed my life. Being a classical kid really changed the thought of, could I do music professionally? It was really nice winning something like that. It was pretty good.
The Classical Kids idea was one that stuck because KVNO is all about classical music. It was perfect.
You're watching the Omaha News.
Lyme disease is a rarity in Nebraska, and those who've contracted it say they find diagnosis, understanding, and treatment hard to come by in the state. Lyme disease has pitted some patients against the medical community and has landed some doctors in the courtroom. Lindsay Peterson reports.
The diagnosis came about, my daughter went into hospital and they thought that she had mono. Her fatigue was getting worse, there was other symptoms, we couldn't figure out what it was. And finally, we went to a doctor who said, well, maybe she has Lyme.
Lyme disease is an infection caused by a bacteria called Borrelia burgdorferi. It's transmitted by the ixodes or deer tick.
Ashley is a rarity in Nebraska. Lyme disease is prevalent among the Northeast and along the coast. While doctors and patients typically agree that Lyme disease exists, there is a great debate. After antibiotic treatment, can Lyme disease persist chronically? Ashley created a series of YouTube videos documenting her chronic illness she and her family say is Lyme.
My body hurts everywhere. I'm exhausted. I'm so mad that I have to be sick. Nobody can fix it.
So the problem is some people, after they've had infections, have persistent symptoms. And those symptoms can vary, but often involve high amounts of fatigue, tiredness, muscle aches, brain not working very well.
I can't say I'm exhausted any more times than I have, because that's all this illness does, is just to wipe you out.
Finding a doctor to treat chronic Lyme disease can be difficult. Those who do often prescribe long doses of antibiotics, sometimes weeks and sometimes even months, and some have lost their licenses because of it.
The treatment was unbelievably nasty, but it worked. She still has Lyme.
whether people with these long-term symptoms actually benefit from long courses of antibiotics has actually been studied, and they actually found no difference in symptoms of people who are treated with short course versus long course.
The Centers for Disease Control, starting in 2006, released a list of recommendations for treating Lyme. The use of long-term antibiotics, according to the CDC, are not beneficial and possibly harmful. Because of the recommendations, insurance rarely covers long-term treatment. John says his family has spent $175,000 on Ashley's treatment.
CDC, the NIH, the Infectious Disease Society of America, they have looked at all that evidence and not found that there's any evidence of chronic ongoing infection due to Borrelia.
To watch a 105-pound female, screaming in pain, there's nothing you can do about it as a father. And I'm like, why not me? Why can't I take this from her? Why can't they just do a blood transfusion? You take my good stuff, I'll take your bad stuff. I'll suffer through it. I've had a good life, it's incredibly painful.
And if we've ruled out all of the things we can, sometimes we're left saying, we don't know what's causing the symptoms. Let's work to make you feel as good as you can feel and function as well as you can function.
John says Ashley's illness is lifelong, but he refuses to give up hope.
There's no alternative, is there? She's my daughter. She's my daughter. You do things for your family and friends. You don't, when times get hard, it's easy to run, but without us, what does she have?
For the Omaha News, I'm Lindsay Peterson.
Roughly 30 to 35,000 people were infected with Lyme disease nationwide in 2011. Only 7 cases were confirmed in Nebraska last year.
Papa John's Pizza faces a $250 million class action lawsuit for blasting customers with illegal text messages. The pizza chain allegedly sent customers a total of 500,000 unwanted messages in early 2010. The texts offered deals for pizza, and some customers complained that they were getting 15 or 16 texts in a row, even during the middle of the night, according to court documents. The Telephone Consumer Protection Act of 1991 bars companies from sending advertisements via text message without a consumer first opting into the service. Papa John's plans to appeal the judge's ruling because it sees no basis for the plaintiff's estimate of $250 million.
A 21-year-old Omaha man has been linked to 14 robberies in 4 days. Dion Stewart was booked on 2 felony robbery warrants in connection with incidents at Midtown Gas and Check Into Cash on Sunday. Police say he will also be booked on charges stemming from a dozen other robberies, 3 of them happening within 17 minutes of each other. Authorities say Stewart, a father of 5 children, is a documented gang member who lives with his mom. Bail is set at $75,000. Coming up on the Omaha News, with UNO not having a football team and Creighton Prep now playing football at Burke High School, Cornelia Field has been sitting vacant.
We'll show you what the university has in plan for the stadium in the post-football years. You're watching the Omaha News.
UNO TV invites you to take a journey around the world, to lush jungles with endangered species, to exotic lands and different cultures, to lost cities beneath the sands. Travel through time to see ancient secrets on the other side of the world, the growth of the American West, or the start of Nebraska's largest city. Or just explore our state. Find out about Nebraska in World War II. Learn how Omaha has grown since. Discover the effort to renovate its green spaces, the history of one of its most impressive buildings, or look at its internationally recognized university. For over 20 years, UNO TV has produced award-winning documentaries that explore, educate, and enlighten. To find out more, call 402-554-2516 or visit unotv.unomaha.edu.
Something wasn't right.
Were they lying to the public?
There was a bigger story here than just a plane crash.
It's become the symbol of everything that's wrong with the industry.
My kid got 6 vaccines in one day and he regressed.
Not only are those children who aren't vaccinated at risk, but those who can't be vaccinated are at risk.
Nobody really knew what was going on. What was it in this market that had to be hidden?
I spent millions of dollars in cash, bribing government officials.
People in power do not like the investigation to come too close to them.
You never hear these stories.
Tuesdays on NET1.
You're watching the Omaha News.
The fallout of the Maverick football team a couple years ago left many questions unanswered. One being, what happens to Cornelia Field? Brett Kane has more.
The phrase used to describe the former University of Nebraska-Omaha football field may sound familiar to drivers in the Omaha area. Under construction. The track that had once surrounded the field has been stripped, leaving just dirt in its place. But Associate Athletic Director Mike Kemp says there's a reason for it.
With a facility available like Cornelia Field, it made sense to make the transition to a soccer pitch.
So UNO left American football to adopt the European form. And even though the field's in shambles now, there's one football hand-me-down that will remain unscathed.
Well, there's no question about that. It'll be probably, well, I don't think there's any question it'll be the finest scoreboard in all of college soccer.
But the construction at the back of the stadium has actually nothing to do with the soccer team itself. The school is deciding to build a new building onto campus.
The area, which would be the northwest side of the track, was torn up to accommodate work on the new biomechanics lab, which is being constructed behind the scoreboard.
The date that renovations are done and Maverick Soccer can kick off their inaugural season is still unknown at the time.
Well, again, some of that's contingent upon our ability to raise some money. This, of course, is being built by donated funds from the community. Our hope is that we can be started here over the course of the winter as far as getting things squared away, and that we can be playing on it when camp opens in August.
Reporting for the Omaha News, I'm Brett Kane.
UNO's addition of the men's soccer team to complement the women's team doubles Maverick fans' opportunities to catch a game on campus once the stadium is finished.
The Nebraska Board of Regents recently approved the initial phases of the UNO Arena project. Reporter John D. Haskell is in the newsroom with the details. John?
Thanks, Samantha.
Take 4.
This arena would be a huge benefit for both athletics and students.
Stand by VT2.
It's in the early stages and has a long way to go, but it sure would be a huge step for Maverick athletics and the university.
Exarban is quickly becoming a bustling area. There's entertainment, food, business, and a growing amount of Mavericks. UNO students have made their print in Exarban, and the university is following their lead. They're in the early stages of planning a new arena that will be built right next to Exarban.
You know, a lot of people are affected. Obviously, the university is affected. There's developer financing that initially somebody else owns the building, not the university.
The proposed spot is just south of 67th and Center. No blueprints have been drafted yet. The university will be pitched some ideas, but Athletic Director Trev Alberts hopes some ideas can come from those who will use the venue.
Now, I would like to think that our hockey coach and administrators will have a little bit of input on structure.
The venue will most likely be used for more than just Division I athletics. The university has found out that UNO athletics would only use the arena 20% of the time, but they fund 97% of it. Both sides win, and that's what's important.
And if the community is not integral, to your point, in any facility or anything we do, then it's really not part of the overall mission of what UNO stands for. And that's what makes us strong.
The buzz around the hockey program for the project is not too high on the team's list as they have began their season. However, once the project gets started, some of the younger players may have their own arena to call home before graduating.
John, how much is the project estimated to cost?
The cost of the proposed arena is estimated to be $76.3 million, with the building creating approximately 7,500 for hockey games.
Thanks, John.
Coming up after the break, Millard North, Omaha North, and Omaha Gross have all made the Nebraska Football State Championships.
But they're not all going to come back to Omaha with the title. We'll preview both championship games that will involve the Omaha area teams. You are watching the Omaha News.
do. Or reach beyond.
Oh my gosh, it's fantastic.
When you want to peer inside.
There's something wrong here. This isn't normal.
It would seem almost impossible. Or push the limit.
Large tornado! It's humongous! You need to get out now!
When you want to dive deep.
These divers are like astronauts.
Our human nature is to push into places that we don't know about.
Or go to the edge.
There are other worlds out there. We don't know exactly what we're going to find.
When you want to find new frontiers.
I was truly astonished. You just don't ever know.
Nova.
Wednesdays on NET1.
You've always known you were a leader, someone who works hard to achieve your goals. You can see it. You can see your success in front of you. You pursue a college education for the old-fashioned reasons, to learn, to make yourself more valuable, to succeed. You need a place that celebrates your ambition and positions you alongside visionary people just like you. You, my friend, belong here, the University of Nebraska at Omaha.
Most local television news only gives you brief headlines about issues that may be important to you. But for more than 10 years, only one program has remained dedicated to examining all the information about issues that really matter to Nebraskans. I'm Kathy Wyatt, and it's my privilege to present those issues for your consideration. Join me on the campus of UNO in a program we call Consider This, every week on NET1.
When high school football season started in Nebraska on August 24th, 284 teams all had the same goal, winning the state championship. And 3 Omaha area teams are just one win away from doing that. Welcome back to the Omaha News. I'm Kevin Cleaver.
And I'm Samantha Netchkosh. There will not be a repeat Class A state football champion this year. The defending champion, Lincoln Southeast, was eliminated on the quarterfinals against Omaha North. Reporter Anthony Pontiero has more on this year's Class A state championship between Millard North and Omaha North.
This Monday will be the Omaha North's first trip to the Class A high school football championship game, and Coach Larry Martin is confident about the matchup.
Our coaches have put a great plan together. We're not in a big, huge hurry. You get to this time of the season, it's a lot more mental than it is physical.
And the 10th ranked Vikings of Omaha North are ready for this Class A rematch.
The biggest thing that I think is that you've seen it once. And so our kids are recognizing ways that they've been blocked.
Coach Martin shares his keys to victory for Monday's game.
I think we've had great senior leadership, and it's been a true team. Special teams have to be great. Defensively, we have to show great resiliency to the ball, and offensively, we just got to execute and take care of it.
Omaha North will be facing another North Side team. They'll be playing the Millard North Mustangs, and they've had more than their fair share of championship games.
Tradition is built and tradition is held, and so we're very proud of what we accomplished.
The top-seeded Mustangs have been to 6 championship games within the last decade, and Monday's game will make it number 7.
I don't think we can get into the overconfidence thing. You don't get overconfident in the 13th game. You just play it, and you prepare and you plan, and you do the best you can.
Coach Fred Petito knows it's going to be a tough matchup.
Both teams, they're going to do what's got them there. They got good players who would be playing the 13th game. They got good players who they would be playing the 13th game. And it's going to come down to physical execution.
This Monday's championship game will be at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln at 7 p.m. For the Omaha News, I'm Anthony Pontiero.
Also advancing to the state championship in Class B is Omaha Gross. Gross beat Elkhorn in the semifinals 14-7. The winning score came on kickoff return for a touchdown with 9 seconds left. The 5-seed Cougars will play the 10-seed Norris Titans at Memorial Stadium on Tuesday at 7:15.
With possibly 2 Metro teams winning the championship in high school football, there are 2 other area teams in football and volleyball that are having one-of-a-kind years. Here's John Carter with the story.
Iowa Western took on Ellsworth in the MFC championship game last Saturday in Council Bluffs, and the Panthers kept it close, holding the Weaver scoreless through 1 quarter. but the Reavers outscored Ellsworth 31-0 in the second quarter and rolled from there, winning big yet again 54-7 to improve to 11-0, winning every game by at least 20 points. Star quarterback Jake Waters had 193 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, including one to his favorite target, Deion Long. And with the win, Iowa Western wins the Midwest Football Conference and advances to the JUCO National Championship game in just their 4th season of action, December 2nd, against 6-time champ Butler, Kansas at the Unidome in Cedar Falls, Iowa. And they're taking the #1 ranking with them. Also having an historical season is the Creighton volleyball team. The Blue Jays are in the top 25 for the first time in their history, ranked 23rd in the nation. Creighton is 24-3, 15-1 in conference, and they've won a program record 12 consecutive games. The Blue Jays closed their regular season with road games at Wichita State and Missouri State before heading to Springfield, Missouri for the MVC tournament on November 22nd, where they've already clinched their first ever #1 seed and a bye in the first round. For the Omaha News, I'm John Carter.
Last Sunday, the Creighton men's soccer team won the MVC tournament title, and with the championship, the Blue Jays advanced to the NCAA tournament for the 20th time in the last 21 years. Creighton earned a #12 national seed and a bye in the first round. Then they play host to the winner of Air Force and Washington on Sunday at Morrison Stadium. If the Blue Jays win, they play either Niagara, Michigan, or the #5 national seed Akron at a site and date to be determined. That's it for this week's edition of the Omaha News. Thanks again for watching. Looking for more? Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/theomahanews.
While you're there, you can check out the news stories our reporters covered, submit story ideas, or give us feedback. We'd love to hear from you. From all of us here at the Omaha News and UNO Television, good night.
KVNO was in a really interesting place. This Victorian mansion near UNO.
3 floors. The studios were on the 3rd floor.
Bedrooms and bathrooms. So we had a challenge, but we ultimately ended up with an on-air studio.
We soundproofed it with carpet, and actually I think it sounded really warm, very radio friendly.
There were also rumors that the 3rd floor was haunted. Those were the maid's chambers, as we were told.
I had a sink in the office and leaded glass windows which looked out on the stable house in the back.
One colleague talking about having the window open one day, a warm spring or fall day, and a squirrel jumping through the window onto a turntable.
It was a great place, a great ambiance for a fine arts station.
It definitely had a charm to it.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha is a place for tomorrow's leaders, a place where individuals converge on a path to success, getting the attention and direction they need as they begin their career. It's where students take pride in serving Omaha, a city we've invested in for more than 100 years. UNO is a place where greatness begins. The University of Nebraska at Omaha.
NET Television expands your mind, enlightens your mind, inspires your mind, educates your mind, entertains your mind. NET Television opens up new worlds to you. Explore, travel, learn, discuss, debate. NET Television keeps you informed. Music, theater, dance, art, news. NET Television awakens your dreams, seeks to serve, strengthens our communities. We are Nebraskans. We are NET Television, Nebraska's PBS station.